Somewhere behind your nightly Apple TV Plus binge is a silent supercomputer. It is not one machine. It is a constellation of purpose-built facilities stretched across 4 countries, from the foothills of North Carolina to the plains of rural Denmark. Together, they quietly sustain over 2 billion active Apple devices. Every Siri answer, every iCloud sync, every App Store download traces back to server halls most people will never see, and Apple rarely talks about them. So what's actually inside them, and why has Apple spent billions keeping this backbone invisible? Apple's digital backbone stretches across continents, each site chosen for a specific advantage in the global grid. In Catawba County, North Carolina, the Maiden campus anchors the East Coast, positioned beside major AT&T and Spectrum fiber lines, and a short hop from the Charlotte Internet Exchange. Its closed-loop cooling system recycles 95% of its water from the Catawba River, a design shaped by local water concerns. County officials point to Maiden as a catalyst for jobs and renewable energy, with a $30 million tax abatement tied to local hiring. Here, low latency means iCloud and App Store traffic reaches millions across the eastern seaboard without delay. Westward, the Truckee River Canyon near Reno, Nevada, hosts Apple's largest western campus. Direct access to Level 3 and Zayo fiber rings, plus proximity to DECIX Seattle Exchange, ensures fast delivery of Apple TV Plus and Vision Pro content. Local requirements for green buffers and closed-loop cooling protect the canyon's water, while $12 million in tax incentives and a $5 million water use rebate sealed the deal. Persistent low-latency connections power Siri and Maps for users from California to Washington. In Prineville, Oregon, Apple's campus sits at the crossroads of the Pacific Northwest's main fiber corridor, within reach of the Portland Metro Exchange. A dry cooling system and reclaimed water pond address regional water rights debates. With a $25 million state tax credit and a 500-job mandate, the facility shapes both the local economy and the speed of search and sync for the coast. Mesa, Arizona's data center, rises from the desert, connected to the Phoenix to Las Vegas fiber backbone, and minutes from the Phoenix Exchange. The site leverages solar power and city incentives, including a $15 million tax abatement and a $3 million water grant. Reflective roofs and vegetated setbacks reduce heat, while an 80% cut in freshwater use tackles scarcity. For the Southwest, this means seamless app updates and AI features. In Waukee, Iowa, the campus ties into the Iowa State University fiber backbone and links to Chicago via a dedicated 100 gigabit per second dark fiber line, a $20 million incentive package, and a 150 megawatt wind contract support both local workers and Apple's renewable goals. Hybrid cooling keeps services fast across the Midwest. Beyond the US, Viborg, Denmark, uses wind energy and district heating, while Guizhou, China, taps hydroelectric power and sits near Asia-Pacific cable landings. Each site, from North Carolina to China, is a calculated node, chosen for fiber, incentives, and water, and together they form the invisible grid that powers Apple's ecosystem. Apple's data centers form a network where the pursuit of operational sustainability is measured in megawatts and verified in public ledgers. At the Maiden campus in North Carolina, 3 solar farms, each rated at 20 megawatts, line the property, producing 126 million kilowatt hours annually. This output could power nearly 18,000 homes, but here it feeds the data halls directly. During daylight, the center runs almost entirely on its own solar. At night, a power purchase agreement with Duke Energy's renewable portfolio fills the gap. Every hour, the mix of solar and grid power is tracked, and each megawatt hour is audited for carbon-free compliance. DNVGL, an independent verifier, certifies the site's performance under the RE100 initiative. As one renewable energy analyst notes, Apple's North Carolina site is among the first in the US to achieve true 24/7 renewable matching, not just annual offsets. In Oregon, the Prineville campus draws on the region's natural strengths. A micro hydro plant on the Deschutes River delivers 8 megawatts of steady, clean power. This is paired with a 25-year, 200 gigawatt-hour wind contract from the Columbia River corridor. Together, hydro and wind supply over 95% of the site's needs. State regulators audit the power flows, and the Oregon Department of Energy publishes annual verification reports confirming the campus's low-carbon status. With a power usage effectiveness of 1.08, Prineville stands out in Apple's portfolio, minimizing the environmental cost of every Siri request or iCloud backup. Denmark's Viborg data center takes a different path. Here, waste heat from servers, about 10 megawatts thermal, is captured and piped into a district heating network, warming a dairy, ceramics plant, and greenhouse complex. This system delivers 70 gigawatt hours of low carbon heat annually, displacing fossil fuels and cutting regional emissions by 15,000 tons of carbon dioxide. Built with Vestas and the Danish Energy Agency, the project is audited by DNVGL and certified as renewable under EU law. The European Commission lists Viborg as a model for integrating data centers into the circular economy. Across these sites, Apple's contracts guarantee renewable supply hour by hour, not just in annual averages. Independent audits and public registries verify every claim. This operational discipline forms the backbone of Apple's 2030 net zero pledge, as the company works to ensure that the infrastructure powering 2 billion devices leaves as light a mark as possible. Inside Apple's data centers, the hardware reflects a single-minded pursuit of efficiency and control. Patents, job postings, and supplier filings reveal a clear pattern. Apple builds its own high-density platforms, shunning commodity hardware. Engineers have developed custom server systems anchored by in-house ARM-based silicon. In 2026, a Tech Power-Up leak detailed Apple's plans for proprietary data center processors, built on the ARM instruction set, fabricated at TSMC's 3-nanometer node, and tailored for AI inference. These chips appear to extend the M-series lineage, but with more cores, larger caches, and integrated neural engines. Cloud architects point out that Apple's approach diverges sharply from industry norms. While most hyperscalers depend on x86 servers or third-party GPUs, Apple's job listings call for expertise in custom silicon, high-bandwidth interconnects, and proprietary rack enclosures. There is no evidence of Apple buying NVIDIA or AMD GPUs at scale. Instead, supplier filings from Quanta and Flex reference ARM compute boards and custom cooling, reinforcing Apple's preference for vertical integration. Apple's racks are engineered for density. Analysts estimate their server rooms pack more compute per square foot than rivals, thanks to the low power draw of ARM chips and aggressive cooling. Patents and filings describe a network fabric blending PCI Express Gen 5 with a proprietary optical mesh, moving terabits of data between racks. One patent details a top-of-rack switch using silicon photonics to cut latency for AI and media workloads. Thermal management is essential. Apple has piloted liquid cooling and even full immersion cooling for its densest AI racks. Direct-to-chip cold plates and sealed modular boards help keep power usage effectiveness as low as 1.12 in new facilities. These choices are not just technical milestones, they are necessities. With billions of devices depending on instant Siri responses and seamless iCloud, every watt and millisecond matters. The silent supercomputers behind Apple's services don't just support the ecosystem, they quietly shape it. Every Apple service millions rely on, whether it's a FaceTime call, a Siri request, or a Vision Pro stream, runs through silent corridors lined with racks of purpose-built machines. The visuals represent Apple data centers and similar hyperscale infrastructure, the unseen backbone that powers daily life for 2 billion devices. Inside each facility, the work is divided by function. Storage clusters, built around custom ARM-based boards and dense NVMe flash, handle the constant tide of iCloud photo uploads and device backups. These racks are tuned for steady throughput, keeping family photos and documents available in seconds, whether you are in North Carolina or Denmark. When a user presses the shutter, the image syncs through a storage-optimized rack, crossing Apple's private fiber before landing in a secure vault. Next to storage, inference pipelines run on racks equipped with Apple's own AI accelerators. Siri requests, Vision Pro's immersive environments, and real-time translation all depend on these boards. Each chip is designed for low-latency, high-efficiency inference, drawing on neural engines built for the demands of generative AI. A product manager once summarized the expectation: if Siri takes more than a heartbeat, we have failed. In practice, that means every Siri command is routed to the nearest available AI rack, processed and answered before a user can lose patience. Apple TV Plus and App Store downloads flow through transcoding farms, where media is reformatted on the fly for every device and bandwidth. These racks are optimized for high-throughput video processing, ensuring a 4K stream or a 200 megabyte app update reaches its destination without buffering. Apple Maps and Fitness Plus draw from specialized clusters, blending real-time location data, sensor fusion, and personalized analytics. Each workload is mapped to hardware that matches its needs: storage for data, accelerators for AI, and media engines for streaming. This invisible choreography is what gives Apple's ecosystem its seamless feel. There is no single supercomputer, but a distributed mesh of purpose-built racks, each tuned for a different piece of the experience. The result is a digital backbone that is as silent as it is essential, carrying the weight of 2 billion devices with barely a pause. Security and privacy. The visuals represent Apple data centers and similar hyperscale infrastructure, but the true architecture of trust lies deeper than steel and silicon. For Apple, privacy is not just a principle, but a design constraint, one that shapes every layer of its backend. Encryption stands at the core. Every iCloud backup, every Siri transcript, every photo in the cloud is stored encrypted at rest, with keys that, according to Apple's public statements, never leave the user's device. In transit, data moves under the protection of TLS 1.3 using forward secrecy ciphers. Even traffic inside Apple's own private backbone is encrypted, creating a zero-trust environment where east-west flows are shielded from prying eyes. Behind this, hardware security modules are believed to anchor the key management system. While Apple's white papers confirm compliance with ISO 27001 and SOC2 Type 2, the company keeps the specifics of its hardware deployment under wraps. Industry analysts point to a likely model: hardware-rooted key stores with cryptographic keys generated, stored, and rotated inside tamper-resistant modules. The result is a system where even Apple's own engineers cannot access the contents of user data without explicit device-side authorization. Regional compliance adds another layer of complexity. European users' iCloud data is processed and stored within EU data centers, while Chinese accounts are isolated to the Guizhou campus. DNS, records, and public compliance pages confirm this physical separation, enforced not just by policy, but by network architecture. Legal requirements like the EU's GDPR and China's cybersecurity law demand strict regional boundaries, shaping how Apple partitions its infrastructure. Each region may operate with its own set of hardware security module clusters, cryptographic domains, and audit trails, though the details remain closely guarded. A compliance analyst familiar with these systems describes Apple's approach as legal segregation backed by technical safeguards. The architecture is designed to satisfy both regulators and privacy advocates, but it also introduces trade-offs. Regional isolation can slow global data flows, and the need for separate hardware key stores increases operational complexity. Still, these constraints are not optional. For Apple, the trust of 2 billion devices depends on more than marketing. It is embedded in every encrypted packet, every isolated region, and every audit log. The silent supercomputer is not just fast or efficient. It is built to keep secrets, by design and by necessity. The visuals represent Apple data centers and similar hyperscale infrastructure, the silent backbone behind every iCloud sync, Siri response, and App Store download. Yet, even as Apple builds out its own vast network of data halls, the company remains one of the world's largest customers of Amazon Web Services, AWS. This dual approach, operating both proprietary data centers and leasing capacity from outside hyperscalers, defines Apple's hybrid cloud strategy. A cloud economics analyst describes it this way: for Apple, the calculus is about balancing control with flexibility. Running its own facilities gives Apple the power to fine-tune hardware, enforce privacy policies, and optimize for energy efficiency. Custom silicon, tailored cooling, and private fiber links let Apple shape every detail of the user experience, from the speed of a FaceTime call to the security of a health record stored in iCloud. But the scale and unpredictability of global demand, especially during major product launches or software updates, mean that even Apple's infrastructure cannot always stand alone. Hyperscalers like Amazon Web Services, AWS, offer instant elasticity, letting Apple absorb surges in traffic without overbuilding its own sites. This approach minimizes stranded capital and ensures that services remain responsive, even when 2 billion devices light up with a new iOS release. The hybrid model also allows Apple to distribute workloads strategically. Latency-sensitive traffic, like Siri or Maps, is routed through Apple's own edge and core data centers to maintain performance and privacy. Meanwhile, less sensitive or batch workloads can run on rented capacity, leveraging the scale of external platforms. The result is a digital backbone that quietly shifts and adapts, always working to keep Apple's ecosystem seamless, resilient, and ready for what comes next. Apple's data centers may anchor the system, but the real transformation happens at the network's edge. By embedding private content delivery network nodes directly inside ISP networks, Apple sidesteps traditional internet bottlenecks, shrinking the distance between content and device. When a new iOS update drops, millions of iPhones pull the 4 GB file from servers just milliseconds away, not from distant data centers. These edge caches, located at metro points of presence, keep backbone traffic in check and deliver updates without clogging transcontinental links. Latency drops, bandwidth costs fall, and the user's experience remains smooth, even during peak demand. The same infrastructure powers Apple Music, Fitness Plus, and Apple TV Plus, streaming high bitrate content with no buffering, no matter the hour. For Fitness Plus, real-time video and sensor data must sync instantly, so edge nodes process both media and analytics on the fly. Popular content is cached inside ISP networks, while less common requests route back to regional hubs. The system adapts in real time, shifting content based on local demand and usage patterns. To the user, the process is invisible. Apps download, music plays, and Siri responds, all with near instant speed. For Apple, each gigabyte delivered through the Edge Content Delivery Network means lower infrastructure costs and a more reliable ecosystem. As AI features move closer to the edge, these nodes will become even more essential, enabling real-time intelligence at unprecedented scale. AI and future demand. The visuals represent Apple data centers and similar hyperscale infrastructure, but the next wave of demand will push these silent supercomputers to new limits. As generative AI and large-scale inference move from research labs into everyday Apple services, the operational pressures behind the scenes are intensifying. Recent job postings offer a glimpse of what is coming. Apple listings for AI server silicon design engineer and thermal systems architect call for experience with high-density accelerator boards, immersion cooling, and rack scale power delivery. Procurement leaks from 2026 reference contracts for custom AI server chips, fabricated at TSMC's 3nm node and designed specifically for data center inference. These chips are expected to deliver orders of magnitude more compute per rack. But with that density comes a surge in both heat output and energy demand. Industry analysts point to a shift. Racks that once drew 10 kilowatts now approach 30 or even 40, driven by AI accelerators packed edge to edge. Liquid immersion cooling and direct-to-chip cold plates are no longer experimental, they are becoming essential. Power usage effectiveness, already a point of pride for Apple, faces new challenges as generative Siri, Vision Pro streaming, and on-device intelligence all compete for cycles on the same infrastructure. A futurist data center analyst says that Apple's ambitions for AI will force a rethink of every layer, from silicon to cooling to grid contracts. The next generation of data centers may look less like server farms and more like industrial-scale AI engines. This evolution is not just about performance. Each watt consumed must be justified against Apple's net zero goals and privacy promises. As AI grows more central to the Apple experience, the tension between compute, energy, and trust will define the invisible backbone that supports 2 billion devices. The backend must remain silent, seamless, and secure, even as its demands grow louder than ever. Every backup, every streamed show, every AI-powered suggestion, each relies on a foundation viewers rarely see. These visuals represent Apple data centers and similar hyperscale infrastructure, the silent backbone sustaining over 2 billion devices. As demands for privacy, speed, and intelligence accelerate, this invisible network becomes more critical by the day. The future of digital experience quietly depends on what happens behind these walls. What matters most is almost always out of sight.